do want to mention, too, we mentioned the Chicago Blackhawks. Luke Richardson has been fired. And, this comes on the heels of a game that I saw beginning of the week. Toronto Maple Leafs, one of Luke Richardson's last games as a coach. Who knew? And I thought it was really interesting, Mark Lazarus' take on this, guys, and I wanted to hear what you thought, because I thought he just was blistering about the state of the Chicago Blackhawks right now. And this is midway through the article, and he says, the Blackhawks are unwatchable. And we don't mean boring. Though the Bedard novelty is wearing off and the roster is loaded with stopgap veterans who are essentially just passing through merely laundry for fans to root for. No, the Blackhawks are literally unwatchable for a huge swath of their fans. For subscribers, the two biggest television providers, Comcast and YouTube TV, the hoops you have to jump through in order to watch this team is laughable. You must purchase a set of rabbit ears, and then he puts in brackets, rabbit ears in 2014. You must have a room with a window that faces downtown Chicago.
Yeah, not 2014.
Oh, sorry, 2024. Sorry, it's October 7th. You must have a room with a window that faces downtown Chicago. You must have the rabbit ears high on your window somewhere, or you must have a night where it's not too windy or too rainy or too cold or too clear. Who knows? There's a good chance on any given night that you're going to be looking at something that looks that closely resembles scrambled HBO from the 1980s more than a high-definition hockey game. Your other legal option is to pay $20 a month to watch the games on your phone or laptop, but just the Blackhawks. If you want the Bulls or the White Sox, those high-flying can't-miss squads, the White Sox are terrible, you'll need to pony up $30 a month. It's gobsmacking.
No, keep going.
By the way, they're calling him dollar. They're calling them dollar. There are dollar Bill Wirtz references going in. Remember, Bill Wirtz didn't like running games on local television because he thought you wouldn't buy tickets. Mm-hmm. And interesting. Another part of this article that I thought was just fire. Is it Luke Richardson's fault that Tyler Bertuzzi has only 2 even strength goals in 26 games, or that Teuvo Teravainen does too?
First time.
Is it Richardson's fault that the Blackhawks have been outscored 14-6 with TJ Brody on the ice? We could have warned you.
First time.
Philip Kurashev has fallen into a well.
I guess they don't get Leafs games in Chicago either, eh?
Apparently not. Okay. It's $20 to watch just Blackhawks game. Kurashev has fallen into a well, outscored 18-3 on 5-on-5. And then here's another one. He said maybe it's when Davidson tanked so nakedly he dealt away Alex DeBrincat and let Dylan Strome walk 2 summers ago. Maybe it was that he didn't even offer franchise icons Kane and Taze the chance to re-sign and usher in the new generation of Blackhawks, a ruthless decision that left many fans cold. And maybe it was the Blackhawks disappeared from most fans' televisions at the start of the season in the Chicago Sports Network debacle, conjuring up many references to, and I said this already, dollar Bill Wirtz. Anyway, not good in Chicago. And here's what I want to ask. I want to ask the panel. I'm going to ask the panel. Here's the quiz. All right, guys?
I like the quiz.
I like the quiz a lot, too.
I like it, too.
Here's the quiz. Sorry, Duthie, I'm stealing your bit. What is the real issue here? Because for me, Davidson's just fired his last bullet. You are the architect of your own disaster here. You have now fired this coach. You fired the previous one as well. But he was your guy. Luke Richardson was your guy. What do you expect the next coach to really be able to come in and do here? And is he next?
So, it's a good question. Mm-hmm. I want to turn to Jesse, though.
Okay.
Because during our season previews...
Yeah.
And I promise I'm not doing this to Duncan.
No.
Yeah. During our season
say what you
previews,
want to say.
Did you... where did you have the Blackhawks in the Central? Do you remember?
I think the 4th, at least. Yeah.
You had them making the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that was like your hot take.
Yeah. I thought their ceiling was second wild card.
Right.
I thought they had the chances, so I went with the highest possible ceiling that I thought they could hit, which was the second wild card, if everything went perfectly.
And Adam and I didn't have them that high, but we agreed I expect them to take a step forward.
Yeah.
And then by the end of you talking about them, I'm like, geez, I didn't put the Blackhawks high enough. Mm-hmm. And that conversation, just remembering that conversation, sort of made me not want to go down the path of, well, it's the Blackhawks. What did you expect? No. We expected them to be better than this. Each and every individual has underachieved. So I guess the question I'm posing to you, Jesse, is what has gone wrong? And given that we thought they would be better than this, don't all fingers point at the coaching?
Yeah, no, I think for sure there's a lot of coaching issues when you can't get the best out of Connor Bedard. And at this point in their rebuild, they still shouldn't be going backwards because they did the great thing, which is you're supposed to tank so hard that one year you get extremely lucky and you get the big fish. It's why Buffalo was so upset that they lost the McEichel draft and they lost the Austin Matthews draft. It's like they stunk for so long and we're like, we're supposed to get one of these guys and we got stuck with fucking Jack Eichel.
And by the way, picked second both drafts and fumbled both of them.
Yeah. They bungled. They bungled Jack Eichel.
No, yeah, they bungled Eichel. No, I'm thinking of Reinhardt from the draft before. Yeah, they picked second overall 2 years in a row. Fumbled both of them.
Yeah. And that's why when the Blackhawks tank and you get Bedard and you're like, okay, last year's your first season with Bedard, obviously you're going to keep tanking. But this year was supposed to be the step forward year. So this offseason, Kyle Davidson goes out and he makes all these moves for all of these vet pieces. And I look at the vet pieces, and I'm like, okay, reasonable people. You know, you've brought in a bunch of guys who might be able to do some stuff. Now that you see them on the ice, there's obviously a giant lack of scoring, and that you have some guys who are like on the power play units that shouldn't be on any power play units in the entire NHL.
Shouldn't be on the team.
But the sum of the parts where you said we're not just going to have a bunch of children out there in AHLers, we're going to bring in real NHLs and spend some money this offseason, should have resulted in something better here than just an anemic team who is a pathetic on ice NHL team who shouldn't be out there. And so it's on both. It's on both the head coach for not getting the most out of these guys when your GM did give you something to play with. And it's also on the GM for bad talent evaluation and bringing in these vets that I thought, hey, if Kyle Davidson is actually going for something here, there might be something there, but it's all the wrong personnel top to bottom.
The new guys are underachieving. The old guys, which Bedard falls under hilariously, are also underachieving. No one's doing well. Like, are they getting unusable goaltending? They're probably not
from
getting
Mrazek
and Soderblom. Like,
I thought Mrazek has like league average potential in him.
Yeah,
you know, like I could see that.
And Brossoit's been hurt, so there was another one of their free agent signings, and like, who knows? Brossoit could have been. The conversation was, who do you get first, Brossoit or Stollers?
Yes, this offseason. Yeah.
Stollers has been, honest to God, one of the best goalies in the league so far this season.
And they paid almost $1 million more for Brossoit.
Well, and I'm not criticizing that move. I'm saying, like, maybe if that move doesn't if he doesn't get hurt, maybe all is solved. But
yeah,
I don't think.
And Brossoit was injured in late August, and he hasn't played hockey.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you don't bank on that when you sign a free agent for that amount of money. And Peter Mrazek has been okay considering the team in front of him. He has a .905 save percentage,
which is above league.
That's amazing.
Which is good.
I want to throw this out there, guys. That I'm looking at their Puckpedia page, and this is just a rough estimate, but there's about $40 million in new players per year that have been brought in over the last 2 years. I'm not talking about their full contract value. I'm talking about their per year, per annum deals.
Okay.
And you're talking about Taylor Hall, Tyler Bertuzzi, Teuvo Teravainen, Nick Foligno, Jason Dickinson, Ilya Mikheyev, Donato, I believe. He was not a draft pick there, was he?
No, he wasn't. He's a signing.
I'm not going to count Seth Jones because he was a Bowman guy. Alec Martinez, TJ Brody, and of course Laurent Brossoit. It works out to be about $40 million. So this is John Davidson's team.
None of those guys are pillars.
Kyle
Davidson's team. John Davidson's team is the Blue Jackets.
Yes. None of those guys are pillars. Like Taylor Hall, those days are in the past.
Yep.
Who else did you name? Like Nick Foligno is veteran, show the kids the ropes guy.
Yeah, Tyler Bertuzzi, ancillary piece. He's like a Robin.
He's very good complimentary piece.
Yep. Teuvo Teravainen,
Very good complimentary piece.
Jason Dickinson,
Good complimentary piece.
Ilya Mikheyev,
Complimentary piece.
Kurashev.
Decent complimentary piece.
Okay, Pat Maroon.
Are we going through the whole lineup?
Like
What are we doing?
the fourth,
But I'm just talking about players that he's brought in, right? Like it's
fourth
contact.
line veteran. guy.
Martinez, Brody.
Martina, I was surprised signed there, to be honest. And Brody,
Well, because they paid him the same that he got paid in Vegas. He got $4 million.
Yeah, Alec Martinez also hasn't been good this season. It's been bad.
No,
yeah, and
They've all been
37.
bad. They've all been bad.
Brody
And-
might just be cooked.
And I think
think he
Brody's been bad. Like they've all been bad. And what I think this comes back to is like I was high on the Blackhawks. I thought they could have reached some potential, but you look at the roster and it's not good. And you look at the general manager now, Kyle Davidson, who was the assistant general manager to Stan Bowman for many years before he was appointed to be GM. Stan Bowman steps down. He gets the intern tag removed. He gets to be full-fledged GM. And one thing we talk about with Stan Bowman's end of legacy in Chicago, obviously the scandal and all this stuff, but Stan Bowman wasn't a great GM. His years post-Cup and many of the years in
and he
between.
didn't draft any of the great players that he ended up
And
having.
Now I look at Stan Bowman's tenure and I'm like, okay. After the Cup stuff, he wasn't great. And then this is the era point. What is the phrase?
Heir apparent?
Heir
Heir
apparent.
apparent. Sorry, to Stan Bowman. Maybe Kyle Davidson learned from a guy who wasn't very good at his job.